Am I audible now? Hello, guys.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, you're audible. Yeah.
Okay, so welcome to the second session of demo. Uh, so, as a best practice, what we do is every day, whatever we have discussed for the first 5 minutes, we will be going through that, whatever we discussed in the previous session. Okay, so just a recap of what we have learned yesterday. So, yesterday, what did we learn? We have learned about uh, what is difference between Pega decisioning versus Pega marketing. Okay, and different portals that are available. So where we have the CDH portal, Prediction Studio. Okay, and different types of marketing. So where we have inbound marketing, which means customer will contact the business. Second thing, we have outbound marketing, which means business will only contact the customer. And also we have seen uh, what is the next best action, right? So which is nothing but a right offer, the right customer at right time. Okay. And in Pega decisioning versus Pega marketing, what did we see? Decisioning has features only to identify next best action. Okay, but does not communicate with customer. Okay. Same way, marketing has features only to communicate the next best action identified in decisioning. Okay, so these are the things that we have seen in the yesterday session, and today we are going to start with the second session of the demo. Okay, so let us get started. So before you actually create the application, we have to make sure whether our environment is properly set up or not. That means whether the environment is suitable for Pega decisioning, and we have to validate whether this environment is uh, supporting to our implementation. So that's what we are going to see today. So unlike traditional BPM application development, CDH involves various services that are responsible for various features. So let us understand the different services that are needed for CDH implementation to be successful. Okay, fine. See, basically, what is that? What is this service I mean to say? See, for example, let's do one thing. Yeah, for agents to run, what we need to do? We need to have we need to have background processing service uh, running normally, right? So we need to have background processing service that needs to be running normally. So for the agents to be running. So same way for Pega decisioning also, we have certain services that needs to be enabled and running in your application. So what are those services? How do we enable those? That's what we are going to see today. So let us start with the decisioning services that are required for our application or for our environment. Okay. So I'm saying here, for example, um, decisioning services that needs to be enabled in the environment before implementation. Just like how you have background processing search for your Pega PRPC. for the agents to run and all that. Same way, some services are needed. So the first one is ADM, ADM service. ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. So this is one of the service, that is ADM. ADM stands for Adaptive Decision Manager. So what is the purpose of this service? So this service is responsible for your adaptive models and predictive models to run uh, properly and to train these models. So I believe that at least you heard the name adaptive model or predictive model some or other time. So yesterday I told you, right, what is the purpose of a model? So the models are used to analyze the customer's decision, okay, like whether he has accepted the offer or rejected the offer. That's what they will analyze and suggest some better offer to future customer. Okay, for example, let us say uh, today you have promoted some iPhone to the customer A, but the customer A has rejected that offer. Tomorrow you have promoted iPhone to customer B, but the customer B has accepted it. So now why this customer A has accepted an offer, or why this customer A has rejected an offer, why this customer B has accepted an offer? So this kind of analysis will be done by the models based on what data, what are the data that is present in the customer, what is the comparison, is the first customer income very low, that is the reason he has rejected. So this kind of analysis the models will be doing using data science algorithms, and it will provide some better suggestion for the future customer. So let us say it identified customer A has rejected iPhone because customer A salary is very low. Customer B has accepted iPhone because customer B salary is very high. So same way what it will do, let us say in day after tomorrow customer C will come and his salary is high, so it will suggest iPhone because high salaried customers are interested in iPhone. So the model will suggest iPhone to be given to that customer C. So like this, these models will be doing, and as part of that we have adaptive models and predictive models which we are going to learn. So how does this model get the information that customer A rejected and customer B has accepted? So important thing, just I'll make a point but we'll discuss this later. We have a concept called interaction history. So interaction history holds all the interactions of all the customers. So when I say interactions, for example, you sent iPhone offer to customer has accepted it. Okay, so this is an interaction by customer, or let us say customer has rejected it. So this is also an interaction. So even the customer has saw the iPhone offer on the email, that is also an interaction. So any kind of behavior by the customer with the offer, that is called interaction. All these interactions will be stored in interaction history. Okay, they will be stored in interaction history. Okay, now this ADM service will train these models by providing the interaction history information to them. So that is what they will do. Okay, so that's what you have to understand here. So first of all, models are used for analysis. Interaction history is a tables where all the interactions of the customers are stored. For example, customer has accepted or customer has rejected, customer has saw the offer. Every interaction will be present in interaction history. So this ADM service will take this data from interaction history and train this to the adaptive model and predictive model. So that is what this service will do. Okay,
Mm.
clear on that first service?
Sorry to interrupt. So I'm having a query like interaction history data. So if we use the interaction history shape, data will be stored in any table, like class to table mapping, or how it is.
Mm, sorry, come again.
So we will be using IH shape in the strategy, right? So in that scenario, like if we use that, like data will be fetched, stored in any table, like how we store
Yes,
the case related data and fetch it. Is that similar or any difference between them?
similar, similar. So
Oh,
interaction history also has some tables where the data will be stored. From those tables only, this ADM model will learn.
okay. So what
Yeah.
is the difference between interaction history and interaction summary? History summary.
Interaction summary is used to get the data from interaction history tables. That is a shape that is given by Pega to
Okay,
retrieve the data, from the interaction history.
okay. So we can get for I mean, like, what is the max limit of like will data be purged, archived and purged, or is it like for 200 days
No,
also we can get
we
the
have to
data?
we have to do the purge policy. Nothing will be purged automatically.
Okay, so we can get
Yeah,
data from I mean, like, for from the last 1 year or 2 years as well, right?
correct.
Okay, thank you. Yeah.
So coming to the second what you say, the service. So the second service that we have is DDS. First one is
Sorry to
ADM.
interrupt.
Yeah.
One more query. Like, so you said interaction history, right? So data will be stored. Like, suppose if we take table updating, like we do property set and do call obj save or something, and then data will be updated to table. So similarly, for interaction history, like where do we uh, write the logic process for updating data into the table exactly?
So we have a separate topic for that. We'll discuss on that. So there is a
Okay.
activity and API is there.
Okay.
So we'll discuss that API during that session.
Okay.
The second service that we have is the decision data store. So this service is responsible for manipulating with Cassandra database. So first of all, what is this Cassandra database? Let us understand here. So again, you might have heard this term, but let us discuss on detail with this Cassandra database. So the Cassandra database, it's used to, okay, it's used in Pega decisioning applications widely, or you can say it's not used. You can say it's like it's recommended. So the Cassandra database is recommended for Pega decisioning applications for two purposes. Okay, first one is scalability. Second one is availability. So scalability means what? See, first of all, why do we need Cassandra database? See, in your Pega PRPC applications, for example, whatever you are doing some development, like you are creating some credit card application or you are creating some e-commerce application in Pega. So for that, you don't need to interact with the customer, right? You will do some development and later you will showcase to the customer and customer will use it. But most of the scenarios, you will not send to all the customers, millions of customers. But that is not the case in Pega decisioning. In Pega decisioning, you have to interact with the customers. Customer interaction is most important thing in Pega decisioning, okay, and Pega marketing. Customer interaction is most important thing. So you always send some offer to the customer, customer will accept it, and you will store the data to interaction history. You will respond to the customer. Like this interaction will be there with the customer. So in order to avoid any database related issues, or to avoid any uh, downtime from your traditional database, Pega recommends you Cassandra database, so that your customer data will always be available. And scalability here means your application performance will be intact even with one customer or 1 million customers also. Okay, so that is the scalability. Scalability means, for example, your application is loading, your application performance is very good with 100 customers, it will remain the same with 1 million customers also. Just because you have huge number of customers, your application performance will not be impacted, and your database will still be loading faster. Your database transactions will happen faster. So that is a scalability advantage we have in Cassandra database. Second advantage is availability. So Cassandra will guarantee 99.99% availability. So availability means basically what? Availability means your database will not go down. For example, there is some crash happened in your server. Along with your server, your database is also crashed. All the data might be gone if you don't take backup. But such situation does not happen in Cassandra database. So even if your server crash during maintenance, all these times also, Cassandra database will make sure that the data is available, and the data will not get crashed, and it will not be deleted. It will always be available. So these two reasons Pega recommends using Cassandra database. One is the scalability, second is the availability. It is only recommendation, it's not mandatory. Remember this thing. That means in your Pega decisioning projects, most of the projects will use Cassandra database. So again in Pega, we have internal Cassandra, so we have external Cassandra. So internal Cassandra means this is given by Pega, or you can say like it is shipped by Pega internally with the CDH applications. That means whenever you create a Pega decisioning application, within the Pega decisioning application only, Pega has provided you Cassandra database. External Cassandra database means, as usual, that is uh, connect to external Cassandra outside Pega. That's it. That is the difference. Okay. So already Pega has given you some Cassandra database internally. If you want to use that, you can use that, or you can connect to some external Cassandra database also. So for all Pega decisioning applications, Cassandra database is recommended but not mandatory. Recommended for these two reasons. Now this decision data store is a service that is responsible for manipulating with this Cassandra. That means when your decision data store service is running properly, then only your Cassandra database will work. If your decision data store service is not running, you will not be able to insert the data into Cassandra database, retrieve the data into from the Cassandra database, delete the data from the Cassandra database. Nothing you can do. Okay, whenever your DDS service is not running properly. So that is the second service that we have. So now coming to the third one, that is a stream. So stream. So So the third one is stream. So stream service you already know, which is service used for all search and real-time operations. So not only stream, all these are other things. Stream RTDG real time. RTDG stands for uh, real time data grid. Real time data grid. So these three services are responsible for some real time operations. For example, some file listener, data flows, all this will be running on this particular service only, or any agents, job schedulers, all these things will run on this service only. So you see here, this is the one: ADM, DDS, RTDG, stream service, real time background processing. So the first one is used for training the adaptive model and predictive model. Second one is used for manipulating with the Cassandra database. That means if the service is ready, then only the Cassandra database will work. If it is not ready, Cassandra database will not work. Third one is stream, fourth one is RTDG, fifth one is real time. So these three are used for data flows to be working. And background processing you already know, which is for job schedulers, agents, and queue processors, etc. So
Yeah,
these are the services. Yeah.
so when we are referring to a service, are we referring to the nodes on which the
Yeah,
actual
yeah,
processing is done?
we'll come to that. Come to that.
Ravi, I
I
have a
was about
question.
to
What is
tell
the
the same
main?
thing.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah. So, what is the main difference between adaptive and a predictive model?
Yeah. So I'll just tell you the definition, but we'll discuss in detail in those sessions. See, adaptive model can function without any interaction data provided to that, but predictive model cannot function without interaction data. See what I told you, the models will analyze the customer data, that is, it will analyze the customer's outcome and provide some suggestion for the future customer. So in order for the model to start working, they will expect some input about the customer interactions. That means you have to provide some customer interaction file as the input to the model. But for adaptive model, that is not mandatory. If you have it, you will give it. Otherwise, it will automatically learn over a period of time. Okay. So initially, it might give you some bad suggestions, but over a period of time, the model will automatically learn from the interaction history. But for predictive model, when you start the model only, you have to give the interaction data. Without that, it will not work and you will not be able to proceed. Okay, that is a major difference between adaptive model and predictive model. Adaptive models are self-learning models. That means without interaction data also, they will be able to function. So they will slowly learn automatically by themselves. But predictive model is not like that. It will not learn. If you give the input, it will give the output. If there is no input, it will not work. Okay, you got it? The difference?
It is self-learning means that I didn't understand.
Self-learning means this service will slowly learn the model, and the adaptive model will take the data with the help of this service, and it will try to understand what customers are interacting, which customer accepted, which customers have rejected. Okay, and for which kind of customer, which kind of offer we need to suggest. All these things it will learn from the interaction history. Okay, because
Means
let us say,
it will.
that you are working on a new application. Just now you started the CDS application. So what will be there? Nothing will be there, right? Interaction history will be empty because we did not promote anything. Customers also did not respond. So how do you get started? Predictive model will not work in this scenario. Okay, if it is an old application, so much data is there about customers, then predictive model can be used. If it is a new application, no data is available, interactions are not there, then you have to use adaptive model, and the adaptive model will slowly learn. Okay, so
Yeah,
that is
even
a
in
Means
very
it will store all
even
the
in
interaction data in it, or how it will be?
sorry, come again.
No, you are saying like adaptive model will be learn slowly and all. So how it will
Yeah.
be like, by day and day you are putting some files and when
Automatically,
like,
no, no. If the interaction data is available in interaction history, it will learn. So the data should be there in the interaction history tables. Okay. Then whenever the model is having the data in interaction history, it will automatically take the data from that with the help of the service.
Where do we use this adaptive model exactly in real time in strategies or in decisioning projects?
In
Like because
strategies, in strategies
okay,
only we use.
okay, but like
Secretary, can you give some
Strategies.
example?
See, we can give some static conditions, like if the customer age is greater than 50, you promote some medical problem, medical insurance or something. So like that, you can give a static suggestions in the strategy. But we cannot go through millions of customers, which kind of customers accepted which offer before. We cannot go through manually. That will be done by this model. Okay. So the
okay,
model will analyze the entire customer interactions, like 100 customers, what they have done before, which out of 100, how many accepted, how many rejected, why
means
50
uh,
people accepted, why 50 people rejected, due to which data. So all this it will analyze and it will suggest a offer for the future customer. So that is the
okay,
propensity. What do we get from the models is propensity. Okay. So
uh,
just I'll tell you. So here I'll just make a note. Okay. So propensity. Why do we use the models means mainly propensity is nothing but the likelihood of an offer uh, getting accepted by the customer. Okay. So this is the main output of adaptive model or predictive model is propensity.
mm,
Propensity is nothing but likelihood of a customer
okay,
accepting an
and
offer.
okay, like I'm having a query like so in
So
real
this
time
is
it
at
is like
offer level, or you can say it's proposition level. Yeah, go
uh,
ahead.
yeah, in real time, we import the offers and then we evaluate based on the business logic and we provide one or more top offers to the customer, right? So, in that scenario, like where do we use this adaptive model exactly? Like initially after importing all the offer data, or like at the end of the logic, we just like where do we how it will help in evaluating the best offer?
Okay. See, yeah. For example, you have iPhone and Samsung phone. So iPhone propensity is like, for example, 90% customers accepted iPhone and 10% customers accepted Samsung phone. So now your propensity will be 0.9 for iPhone and zero point 0.1 for Samsung phone. So the model, if you are keeping the model after importing the offers, then for the new customer, it will suggest iPhone, because out of 10, 9 people are accepting iPhone only. So this is again not mandatory. If you have to provide some best offers to the customer using from the help of model, you can do that. If you don't want the help of model but your business requirement is something else, okay, like iPhone should be given only to high range customers,
Mm,
high salary customers, Samsung should be given to low salary customers. In that case, you don't need to give any model, you don't need to use any model in the strategy. Okay. But if you don't know what to provide and you want to take some help from the model, you can use it. There are other scenarios also which we'll discuss in the coming sessions. Okay, clear
okay.
till here?
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. So this propensity range will be from 0 to 1. It will be like this, 0 to 1, like 0.99, 0.85, like this. 90% chance customers will accept iPhone. So the propensity is 0.9. Only 10% chance is there. Customer will accept Samsung phone. So then the propensity will be 0.1. So like that you have to understand this propensity. Like for example, it is 0.567. That means 56% chance is there.
So this
Customer will,
propensity will keep on increasing, right? Like whenever the offer is accepted
as
by
the
the customer.
customers accept the offer, the propensity will keep increasing. As the customers reject the offer, the propensity will keep decreasing.
Okay.
Yeah. So we'll see that anyways. We have a separate topic for that. We'll see on that.
Okay.
So again, node and cluster you already know. I don't want to focus on that. So node is nothing but the server that we have, right, in your application. Whatever the server that we have, we call it as a node. So going back to the configuration of these services that we have discussed, ADM, DDS, RTDG, real-time, background processing. So let us go to the portal and see that. So I'm going to the CDH portal which I have showed you yesterday. I hope that
Babu,
all of you have taken the link yesterday.
Babu,
Go to mute, okay? Mute yourself. So yesterday I have shared the challenge link to everyone. So you might have already logged in. So I'm using the same challenge link to show you now. So now go to the CDH portal and go to the Intelligence Prediction Studio. So then you have to go to the Admin Studio. That is where you enable the services in the environment. Okay, so again I'm just making a navigation. See this PPT, this notes I will be sharing it in the WhatsApp group. So enabling the services. So what you have to do is go to the CDH portal, Intelligence Prediction Studio, and then switch to Admin Studio. This is how you have to navigate. Okay, this is how you have to navigate. Remember this thing. Okay. So what I have done, I have by default when I log in, I will go to the CDH portal. I clicked on Intelligence Prediction Studio. Then I have switched to the Admin Studio. So then this is where you see the nodes. This is where you see the nodes. So again, I want to inform you that first we will be learning Pega decisioning. Later we will be learning Pega marketing. And yesterday also I mentioned the same thing. All Pega decisioning topics you can learn in your personalization also, but not Pega marketing. Okay. So now if you see in the Admin Studio, the node type is set to universal. So universal means all the services are enabled. Whatever the Pega service is there, everything will be enabled. There is nothing like one service will not run, one service will run. Everything is enabled. That is the meaning of this universal. So whenever you have very less nodes, for example, you have only one node, at that time you can simply set node type equal to universal. See again, this job generally it will be done by the admin team, but I am telling you how to do that. Okay, so you don't do it. Maybe you can instruct the admin team what they have to do. So if you are having a single node, you can set the node type equal to universal. Then this Pega decisioning service, either it is ADM, DDS, stream, RTTG, whatever service is there, everything will run. For example, you are having 5 nodes, 3 nodes like that. Then you have to manually set the service for each and every node. So you might have already known this, right? For example, node 1, all the web user will be running their web user service. That means your
No,
operators. Node 2 is
sorry for
background node,
interrupting. We are only
background
seeing your
servicing. Right?
PPT.
You don't see the PPT.
We are only seeing the
I'm sharing the
PPT. Yeah,
PPT.
no. We thought of you sharing the designer studio.
No, no, I'm sharing the PPT.
Okay.
So node 1, set it to web user. Web user means all the operators will use node 1. Node 2, background processing. Node 3, background processing. So like that you will be classifying the nodes. Okay, node 1 to be used by operators, node 2 and node 3 to be used by background processing. So all this is called as node classification. So if you have one node, you will directly set it to universal. If you have multiple nodes, then you will set it manually. Even with one node also you can set it manually, but generally when it is one node, you will set it directly as universal. Now we will see how to do that. So I want you to practice this in the personal edition. Right now I don't have personal edition at this moment in my system, but I want you to practice this in your um, personal edition in your system. So basically, how do I classify these services to the nodes? Like first two services to be running on node 1, third and fourth service should be running on node 2. How do I do that? That's what we are going to see now. So what you do, just make a note of it. I mean, you can just type it in your notepad also if you want to practice in your personal edition. So go to the directory where your Pega is installed, then go to the Tomcat bin folder, then open this setenv.bat file. Okay, so that's what you have to do. Open this setenv.bat file with a notepad. So when you open this file, you will see one particular line like this. You see here, like this, hyphen denote type equal to, like that you will be seeing. So there, what you have to do is, if you want to set it to universal, directly you set hyphen denote type equal to universal. If you want to set it manually, then you have to set hyphen denote type equal to like this, stream comma background processing comma web user comma search comma stream comma adm comma dds comma rtdg. Like this you have to set comma separated service value names. That is what you have to do. Okay, so I want you to try this out. Go to this path, open this file, set this value. Okay, like manually, for example, you set hyphen denote type equal to rtdg real time data grid comma dds decision data store comma adm comma real time. Like that you set it, then save it, shut down the server and restart the server. Then again after you restart, you come to the same path, go to the cdh, intelligence, prediction studio, switch to the admin studio and go to the nodes. So when you do that, you should be able to see the same values whatever you have set in the setenv.bat file. That is a stream comma rtdg comma dds comma adm, whatever you set it, that value should be coming here. So this is the exercise I want you to do it. So just make a note of this path and go to this path and do it. So any questions on this? So when you are working on a real-time project, you have to tell the same thing to the admin, whoever the network admin is there. You have to tell the same thing to him. He will be doing it. Just clear?
Is it in personal edition or what? I did not understand.
Your voice is not clarity.
Is it in personal edition or where do we need to do this?
Personal edition only. In your personal edition. So go to this path and do it. So wherever you installed Pega, in that this path.
You share this PPT, right?
So that's what. PPT, I don't think you can share before you enroll. Just make a note of it, no, on a notepad. I'll keep this screen for 2 minutes.
Ravi, Ravi, in the personal edition, we will not be able to access the CDH, right?
Oh, CDH we cannot access.
Okay. Directly switch to admin studio and then we can check there the nodes, is
Yes,
it?
yes, correct.
Ravi, sorry, this is my first session yesterday. I mean, sorry, today I didn't attend the session yesterday. So just wanted to know that what would be the practice platform for us, especially for when we are pursuing through the CDH course. I mean, can we use the regular
Yeah,
Pega
so
configuration?
we have a cloud edition. So we have a cloud edition. So at the
Okay,
end of this session, again, I will show it to you. What is the
okay.
link, how to practice, and all that.
Oh, okay. We'll be given access to the cloud environment.
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Got it. Thank you.
Okay. Just a minute. Okay. So this is what I want you to do, all of you, whoever is there. So just make a note of this path and do it, and let me know if you face any issues. So once you modify this set env.dat file, stop the server, start the server, go to the admin studio and verify that. So then second, the verification that you have to do, not only one verification, you have to do two verifications. So first thing, after you set this denote type, come here and check whether the services names are coming, ADM, RTDG, DDS, whether they are coming or not. Second thing what you have to do is, so go to the dev studio. In the dev studio, go to the configure, decisioning, decisions, sorry, not configure, decisioning, and infrastructure services. So if your decisioning service is mapped to the node correctly, then you will see the status as normal. Same way, ADM status should be normal. Data flow status should be normal for all these things. Okay, that means you have to come to here and you have to verify whether the status is normal or not for RTDG, real time, DDS, and ADM. All these services should have status as normal if you have mapped it correctly. So in real time, generally this will be taken care by the admin, but your job is to check these services whenever you are facing any issues. For example, this status is not normal. Let us say it is failed. So then what happens? You will not be able to access the Cassandra database. So you cannot insert anything, you cannot retrieve anything from the Cassandra because this is failed. So as a best practice, or what you will do is, first you will ask the admin team to restart the server. So when you restart the server, these issues will most of the time get resolved. Okay, so that's what you do generally. From our side also, we'll do the same thing in real-time projects. So sometimes if you are facing some issues, what we will do is, we'll come to here and we'll check in the decisioning services everything is running normal or not. If something is failed, then we'll ask for a restart, and after restart it will fix automatically. Okay, so that's what you have to do in your real-time projects also. You have to make sure that the status is normal, or you contact the admin team what is the issue and why it is not normal. So that's what you have to do. So this is one of the next check that you have to do, because all these services are important for your Pega decisioning implementation. For example, this is not normal, what happens? The adaptive model will not run, model will not learn anything. So like that, some whatever the impacted features are there, they will not work properly. So that's the reason these are important here. Okay, so now this screenshot I have added so that you can understand like which services, which what it will do. Okay, same thing. For example, for Pega we have background processing, BICS, all these things are there. What that node type will do, that is what it is showing here. Same way ADM also, you see ADM, batch, DDS, RTDG, all these things. So this one also we have discussed. Okay, now coming to the next important thing. So just I will make a note of what we have learned here. Switch to the admin studio. First thing what you have to do is go to the Tomcat bin setnv.bat, open with notepad and set hyphen denote type equal to like your DDS comma ADM comma RTDG, like this you have to set it. Okay, shut down and restart the server. Shut down and restart the server. So that is one verification where you go to the admin studio and you check it. Second verification,
In my
what you have to,
system, I'm having only set env only. There is no dot bat.
that is the extension. Extension will not be shown. .tnv is the only file name. So .bat will not be displayed to you. That is a backend type of file. Okay. So second
Okay.
verification is go to the uh, same thing. You have to go to the same thing. So here you have to switch to the Dev Studio. Then uh, configure decisioning infrastructure services. Okay. Make sure all the services are having status as normal. So that is what you have to do. Okay. So that is the next thing. So now coming to the second next topic. All this whatever we are doing, right, these are part of the environment preparation to make sure that environment is properly set up. Next topic that we have is the context dictionary. What is this context dictionary? First of all, what is context? What is context? So the context, okay, context is nothing but audience. Okay, context is nothing but audience, or you can say like targeted audience to whom uh, business promotes their products or services. Okay, so context is nothing but the targeted audience. So see, why do we need to have this context dictionary? See, because for example, let us say uh, like I told you, right, in Pega decisioning we identify the next best action. In Pega marketing, the next best action will be delivered to the customer. So now let us say you have to send an email today. Then how do you send, what details you need? So it will ask you what is the email id, what is the customer name, okay, what is the customer age, all these things, right? So again tomorrow it will send, again it will ask tomorrow. So when you are interacting with the customer at different places in Pega marketing, it will be difficult for you to every time supply the email address, phone number, customer name and all these things, right? So instead of that, what happens in Pega is you will only configure all the context information. Okay, that means like what is your customer table, that is a customer table, in which property, customer email address is present, okay, in which property customer mobile number is present. All these things you will configure in the context dictionary only. Send simply in Pega marketing, you will send it email, you will just use the marketing to send the email. Then it will take the email address property from the context dictionary, and to which context you want to send, where the table is present, what is the first name, all these things it will take from the context dictionary. Okay, so that is the advantage of this context dictionary. Here you will only configure one time. All your Pega marketing rules will take the data from this context dictionary, like okay, to which email address we have to send, okay, you have already configured here, it will send to that particular property. Okay, you will say I need to send an SMS, then to which mobile number property you have mapped this customer mobile number, to that property value it will be sending the SMS. So this configuration you will do in the context dictionary, and one time you will do it, and all the time whenever you want to send the communication to the customer, it will take the information from here only. So
Is it like a rule, or else like in the navigation bar you'll be having that
like a
option
setting, like a setting.
setting? Okay.
Yeah. So it's a separate setting. Yeah, in backend it will create a rule also, but in the front end it's like a setting that you do. So just I will show you, and we will continue learning this context dictionary. So if you go to the App Studio, so again, whatever we are discussing today is part of setup, preparing the environment. So again, you do this after you create the application, but just we are learning it today. So once you create the decisioning application, then only we do that. So creating decisioning application, probably we'll see it tomorrow. So what you do, App Studio, settings, and context dictionary. So here if you see, I have configured customer is my targeted audience. Now when I click on this gear icon, it will ask me what is the full name property, where the customer full name will be present, what is the email property, what is the mobile phone property. So that's it, you give it here. So you have the customer table ready, you have to create this customer table, you have to create all the columns, then simply you will set, okay, this is the email id property, this is the mobile number property, this is the full name of the customer. So whenever we have to send an SMS, automatically it will send the SMS to this particular column. Okay, every time you send it, it will not ask you again and again. So just it will take this information from the context dictionary and it will send the email to this property like this. Okay, so that is this configuration which we do in the context dictionary. So next thing,
And that values will be dynamically populated depending upon the user. Like we'll be
yeah,
having
so
multiple.
depending on which customer ID is triggered, that customer ID property it will take. Okay, at runtime, like you are sending SMS to customer ID 1, whatever customer ID 1 mobile number is there, to that property value it will send. Yeah, so now coming here, they are telling that context dictionary is the targeted audience, right? So we can have different types of context, right? For example, every business will not send offers only to the customer, so we can have something like customers. That can be one type of targeted audience. Let us say the business don't want to send the customer, they want to send to some leads. A leads means some prospect. For example, let us say Axis Bank, or let us say HDFC Bank is using this Pega decisioning. So HDFC Bank don't want to send offers to the customers, existing customers. They want to send some promotion to the people who are not yet customers, something like a leads. That means who have inquired something with the bank, to those people. So they can also be some targeted audience, right? Or for example, there can be other type of audience like uh, people who downloaded, or let us say people who followed uh, the business Facebook page. They can also be some other targeted audience. Maybe they are interested, so they have followed it. You want to send some uh, promotions or products to those customers, so to those people. So there can be different types of audience like this. For example, people who downloaded the mobile app of the business. So they can also be some other different type of audience. So that is the reason overall the generic name is called context. Okay, the generic name is called context. Okay, because we can have different types of audiences. We can be customers, it can be leads, it can be social media people. So different types of people is available. Now in this context, basically contexts are nothing but targeted audience. In this context, we have three types of context here: primary context, secondary context, and then we have associated context. Primary context means, see, at a given point of time in context dictionary, only one primary audience will be there. Okay, for example, you have two types of context, customers and leads, but you cannot make both of them as a primary contact. Okay, that means actively to which people you are promoting right now, they will be your primary context. Okay, for example, actively I am promoting to the primary the customers, then customers will be my primary context. All the remaining audience will be secondary context. All the remaining contexts will be secondary context, second, like you can say, like, yeah, secondary audience. So you can have n number of secondary contexts, but you can have only one primary context. Okay, remember this thing. So even if you see the same thing here, you see I have primary context here, and I have secondary context is account. Okay, secondary context is account. Let us say I want to add one more I want to add one more targeted audience, then I will click on this add context and I will add it. Okay, so that's how I do it. So like this I can have 10, 20 contexts also I can have, but at a given point of time only one primary context will be there. That means whom you are actively promoting, those are your primary context people. So now the third one, we can say like secondary context or secondary audience, not actively promoted at this moment, you can say. Okay, so those are the people here. So associated context means what? Associated context means the associated information for that particular context. Associated information, like for example, uh, existing products the customers are having, like that. See, again, don't get confused here. Primary context and secondary context are only the audience information. Associated context means the associated information for that particular context. For example, if you take customers is my primary context. For them, associated context can be like, for example, customers existing loans. If you take a bank project, so this is the associated context. Okay, the customers existing debit cards or credit card information. This is the associated context. Okay, this is the associated context. So all these three things you will be configuring in the context dictionary: the primary context, secondary context, and the associated context. So this associated context will be with the secondary context also, you can associate. Okay, primary context also will have associated context, secondary context will also have the associated context. So is it clear what I was telling here?
So this context dictionary is something related to both decisioning and marketing, is, or just for the marketing? I
Both,
mean,
both of them, for decisioning and marketing, but in decisioning you don't use it much because we don't
oh,
interact with customer
yeah, yeah.
in decisioning. So in marketing, most of the time this will be used. So as part of that, we have three contexts: primary context, secondary context, and associated context. So primary is the primary audience, secondary is secondary audience, associated context is the data that they are having, like the customers loans, customers debit cards, and all these things. Okay, so we have a separate topic, or we'll be seeing this on Monday, like how to configure this thing on Monday. We have separate context is there. Okay, so the advantage here is, um, we have the installation wizard, right? Tomorrow we will be seeing application creation. The application creation will install all these things. Okay, it will create a customer table, it will create the context dictionary, it will map the context dictionary. Everything will be done by the application wizard only, the CDS application wizard. So that is the advantage here that we have. So tomorrow we will create our first decisioning application, and we will see what we have to do after we create the application. Okay, so as part of today we have learned about the environment setup. So first part of it is to enable the services and what each service will do, how to enable the services, how to verify the services, then about the context dictionary. What is context dictionary? What is Cassandra database? So that's what we have seen. So any questions on this, or of you are clear?
In cloud, is it configured already? Or
Figured means what? I didn't get you.
in a cloud, you showed in the cloud, right? Is it already configured?
The context dictionary?
No,
Which one
CDS
you are
Cloud is
asking?
asking
The
the cloud
CDH cloud.
environment.
Yeah, the cloud is already configured. I think someone was asking the same thing, right? So this is the link. I'm sharing it in the chart again, once again to everyone. So just check your chart. I posted the link. Go to this link, log in with your PDN ID, scroll down, click on the wake up button, click on the launch button, then you will be getting this link here. You will be getting this screen like this. So then you have to click on this button. It will ask you to enter the login ID password. I'm sharing the login ID password in the chat, and the password I sent it both of you. So use this to practice your cloud. And again I'm mentioning Pega decisioning you can practice in your personal edition also. Only Pega marketing is not there, that you have to practice in cloud. Okay, so remember these things, and let us get tomorrow and we'll start with the application creation, the Pega decisioning application creation. So like I told, all the PPTs, recordings, everything will be shared to you, and you can go through, and every week I will share the exercise also on Friday. Okay, on Friday I'll give you some assignment based on what we have learned, and you can work on that assignment. If you want to come to the Harsha Trainings Institute, you can come there and you can practice there also. That is also available. Okay, any more questions before we close?
Can we have any dedicated session like on Saturday and Sunday if you have any like issue in the practicing, right? So if you have anything like whatever the task you will be getting, if you will be not able to do, right? So it will be there any session
Yeah,
in Saturday and
so
Sunday period?
not specifically I can guarantee Saturday, Sunday, but if you have a question, you can post it in the WhatsApp group. So depending on my availability, we can connect and see regarding the issue. Okay, but you can post the issue whatever you are facing in the WhatsApp group that will be created on Monday. Okay, yeah, so the support will be given whenever you are facing an issue. I'll help you to close that.
Okay.